Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3 back with another kicking action figure review. Today we have more 3 3/4 inch Marvel for you today with the Iron Man 2 movie series, Mark III Iron Man from Hasbro. Yeah, so we've already reviewed the Mark II, and this is a repaint of the Mark II. In the film, design-wise, it's a repaint of the Mark II as well, so that makes sense. In the film, of course, there's a lot of internal stuff going on. But since it was straight up a repaint, they actually didn't give it the same accessories as the Mark II, which we'll talk about in a bit. First up, I want to look at detail and paint. Now, admittedly, the paint on mine seems to be lighter in some areas. Like, see how it's much lighter on this leg? Ooh, much lighter on this leg than this leg, and things like that. This arm is lighter than this arm. It's a little bit odd. I think that's a quality control issue. It's probably just mine. But, I mean, I can live with it. I just shouldn't have to. It's like, look, you can almost see the color of the plastic under it. It's put on perfectly thick on this leg. That has to just be a QC issue. The sculpt is really good, though, and where the paint isn't lacking, it's really good. You see they got like metallic gold on him, lots of bright, bold reds and stuff. They tried to paint the reactor to look like it's glowing, which is pretty cool. He's got peg holes on the bottom of the feet, a peg hole in the back for a flight stand or some kind of accessory. He doesn't come with an accessory that would peg into his back, but there might be some for other Iron Men. Yeah, pretty cool. The sculpt is really good. Lots of great little lines. I love how they put this sculpting on the joints so they look more like mechanical parts. That way they look more like part of the armor and less like part of the figure. That is a huge attention to detail, fully detailed on the bottom of the feet. The repulsors aren't painted like some figures in this line, but I can live with that on the bottom of the feet, right? Like, that's not an issue. Now, articulation-wise, the head does go up a little better than actually a lot of the figures in this line. You can kind of force it a little. If you go too high, it'll pop off. So you can almost hit that flight pose, but not quite. Side to side, a good wobble. So it moves better than a lot of the Iron Man in this line, but not quite good enough. Great torso articulation. Really wonderful torso articulation. The arms can articulate much higher than that for up and down, but if you do, the shoulder pads, which also articulate, pop off and go flying, so be careful with that. You have a single elbow bend. It does rotate. It rotates fully around when you have the arm straight, but when you don't have the arm straight, that elbow pad kind of does hinder it. But he does have a wrist swivel. Pretty cool. And the repulsor, which is barely visible, is actually fully painted, which is nice. Even though it's barely visible, they fully painted it. You gotta respect that. Now the legs down here, also I'm not sure I showed you this rotation, but he's got that too. The legs down here do go in and out. You can turn that joint. It takes some effort, but you can turn it to make them kick forward and back. They can't kick back too far because of the hard plastic bussy, but that's just the way it is. There is kind of a thigh swivel on there as well. You have a fantastic double knee bend with knee pads sculpted into it. Really, really nice. And the feet are supposed to go up and down, like the joint is there, but it barely moves. And they're supposed to go side to side, but it's actually pretty hindered by the drop down on the boots. So yeah, there's a lot of hindrances to his articulation, but compare him to pretty much any 3 3/4 inch Marvel figure today and tell me that this is not far superior, right? One of the reasons I stopped collecting 3 3/4 inch stuff is because they started slashing articulation and accessories and paint, and 3 3/4 inch stuff is kind of just like nothing now from Marvel. Unfortunately, since I don't collect 3 3/4 inch anymore, and it's been many years, and I want to get new figures, and living in Atlanta is expensive, I am selling off my 3 3/4 inch Iron Man collection. So if you want this guy, check out my store links down below. I hope you can tell so far that I've been giving a pretty honest review on him. You know, I have been pointing out flaws. I'm not going to give him a fake 5-star magnificent review just to get him out the door. I mean, I think I'm going to sell them for like $12.99, He is creeping up on being vintage eventually, I think, actually. Yeah, I think he is creeping up on being vintage. Oh, man. I think he maybe has a little less than a decade. But yeah, they do not make them like this anymore. They really don't. They also don't make the accessories like this anymore. Every figure in this line comes with a stand like this, which he pegs into incredibly easy. He stands pretty well on his own without it, which is good. Not all of the figures in this line do, but he does, so that's actually very nice. But they also come with these. These are armor cards, and all of these Iron Man 2 figures, whether it be the movie series, the concept series, or the comic series, came with these. And there's 3 cards, one that shows the torso, one with the head and arms, and one with the legs, and they all overlap on each other. And you can take the cards from other figures like this deep dive armor and mix them all together. So you could have the head and arms of the Mark III, the torso with a deep dive, and then the legs of like Crimson Dynamo, and make like a whole new armor, which is pretty fun for the kids and a little fun for adults as well. Mine is still in the plastic, but you can see that they are layered on top of each other. And then you can actually take the armor cards and put them in the stand. Mine won't fit perfectly because it is still in its plastic. But see, if you put it in the stand, you could have a big hall of armors displayed, like Tony has his armors displayed, which I did used to have. I did used to have them all set up and displayed like this. I had some with the cards out of the plastic. Most of them I left in there. I think my Mark IV and Ultimate armor reviews, the concept Ultimate armor, not the comic one, I think those I opened up the cards for. So check out those reviews. They should be pretty recent. But yeah, it's a pretty good looking display. But I did say that they made an effort to make his more personalized accessories different than the Mark IIs, because once again, he's effectively just a repaint. The Mark II comes with armor cards in the stand as well, because everybody does. But the Mark II also comes with a missile launcher that clasps onto the arm. I already packaged up my Mark II for sale, but it's a lot like this one. This is the one for the deep dive armor. Just attaches to the arm, launches a missile. That's what the Mark II has, and it's what a lot of these Iron Men have. It's what the Mark I has. It's what the Mark IV has. The Mark V has one that's a little different, but it is still a missile launcher. So they gave the Mark III something very unique. Flip up chest armor. Yeah, isn't that cool? Fully painted all the way around armor that slips over, and it has these that pop up. Kind of reminds me of the Guyver in a little bit of a weird way. And you can like blast missiles or arc reactor blasts out of that. Very, very cool. I am going to toss it on him. As you can see, the armor goes on with great ease. You could even pop off his shoulder pads under there and replace them with these shoulder pads, and that would actually give his arms a bigger range of movement, which I do recommend doing if you want to display him with this, which I kind of do recommend displaying him with this. It's a great display accessory for adult collectors, but it's also a fun, unique accessory for kids. They put love into this line. That is why this is my favorite 3 3/4 inch toy line of all time. And I've collected other 3 3/4 inch lines, SIC Kamen Rider, Crisis 2, believe it or not. Marvel Universe, of course. But this is easily my favorite. It's no contest. They put so much love into this. Wow. But yeah, he looks good with it down. You flip it up for battle. Really, really, really cool accessory. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part of these reviews, the size comparisons. Here on the left we have a figure from his own line, but this one is from the comic series. It is the Deep Dive Armor Iron Man. Very, very cool. It'll also be for sale. Once again, I'm selling all these Iron Men off. Yeah, and the Deep Dive armor is a taller, bulkier armor, but it's only a little bit bigger than him, and I think he scales pretty well with it. Also, if you saw our Mark II review, you know the Mark II scaled well with other 3 3/4 inch Marvel figures, which means he's going to as well because he is a repaint of the Mark II. And then here on the right, we have a different Marvel 3 3/4 inch line from the same era. It is the Marvel Universe Thanos. Once again, a bigger, bulkier character. I probably could have thought this through better, but most of my 3 3/4 inch Iron Men are in package to be sold. When they go in my physical store, I put them in like a plastic sleeve and seal it, and if they go on my eBay store, I actually go ahead and box them and seal them in the shipping container, and I just have them stored in the shipping so I can just grab it and go straight to the go straight to the post office with it. Makes it so I don't have to find a box last second, you know? But yeah, he looks pretty good with these, which means he'll scale well with other stuff that scales well with these, which is a lot of these Iron Men. Most of them scale well. There are a couple that don't, like the Mark I movie series could scale better with these figures, but it looks really good with other 3 3/4 inch Marvel stuff. And for the sake of reference, here he is with a 6-inch Hasbro Marvel Legends figure. It is the SPDR Build-A-Figure Wave Kane Scarlet Spider, which is the second version of Kane Scarlet Spider. So yeah, if you're the type of person that doesn't care about scale, or you only have 6-inch Marvel stuff, and you want to see what this 1/18 looks like next to the 1/12, here's your chance. Bada bing, bada boom. So all in all, what are my final thoughts on the Hasbro MCU Iron Man 2 movie series Mark III Armor Iron Man figure? I do really like it. The paint on mine is a little rough, which means that I'm probably going to make him a little cheaper than he normally would be. But that's fine, because the articulation is good, could be better in spots, but it is good, especially by today's standards. We've gone backwards on these, capitalism style. But they tried really, really hard with this figure. There's a lot of good accessories, and a really unique one at that. You can get him in some pretty cool poses. You can do a great Hall of Armor display with him. He's a really nice figure, and if you're lining up your movie armors, he's a must-have. He really just is a must-have if you're going to do that, you know? So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links down below, including my store. He might go in the physical store. Maybe. It all just depends. Sometimes stuff gets put in the physical store, and then later it comes to eBay. Sometimes it starts on eBay, later it goes to the physical store. Our physical store is in Monticello, Georgia, so if you're in Georgia, you can check it out. And if I have something in the physical store and you want it shipped to you, you can also just let me know on Instagram. That's it. Thank you all once again. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.